I don't want any water. I don't want any juice. I'll tell you what I really want. Just shut up and give me my whiskey! 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 In a hammock. Whiskey in a hammock.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric.
And I'm Chris.
And welcome to Whiskey in a Hammock. Today we will be reviewing Maker's Mark, which is bourbon whiskey manufactured by the Beam Suntory company. This is a 45% alcohol by volume, 90 proof bourbon.
Yes, and it is made in Loretto, Kentucky. The mash bill.
Yeah, the mash bill, which is red winter wheat, white corn, 70% corn, and malted barley. And the cool thing is, instead of using rye, they actually use the red winter wheat.
Yeah, well, that was the reason why. What was his name? Bill Samuels.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to do something different, something which at that time rye was the thing, and so red wheat was quicker. So he decided to use red wheat instead of.
That's pretty awesome.
Rye.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
All right. Well, okay. Well, why don't you crack it open?
All right. Yeah.
First
And
taste.
you'll describe how we do this.
Yes. Okay.
So as you can see, it's never been open, and we kind of pride ourselves on
straight from the bottle.
Straight from the bottle,
Yep.
When not half gone already.
We don't pregame it. Yeah.
Right.
So basically, we don't sample it beforehand. Okay, so our review process, the way that we've looked at it is, first taste is straight out of the bottle, and put a little nose in it, give it a sniff, see what it smells like. Then the second, add a couple ice cubes, and let it sit just a minute or two.
Yeah.
Small, just a little bit. Then we talk about whiskey news, whiskey history.
Yep.
And then we wait for almost a full melt, and then give you our final review.
Yeah. And it's cool, like we've said in other videos, how the taste and the smells of each whiskey sometimes change pretty drastically with the ice and the melt and things like that. So let's give it a shot.
Okay.
Let's give it a shot.
All right.
Cheers, man. Whew. It doesn't have that hard burn like we've gotten from others right off the bat.
Right.
It smells good. I don't smell anything. I don't know. I'm not there yet. Apparently, I need to work on my nosing, which is what they call it.
Yeah, nose. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it has a sweetness to it.
Yeah, it does. It hits pretty hard right away with no ice in it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing with the red wheat. It's supposed to be smoother.
Yeah, and it's there. There's I don't know what I can't picture what it is, but there's a distinct flavor.
There is.
It's not caramel or anything like that. It's.
Well, I think I'll taste it again.
Yeah, me too. Cheers.
I don't get a whole lot of flavor, do you?
No, not really. I guess there's something distinctive, but I don't know what it is. I've heard people say that when you're tasting and smelling, nosing whiskeys, that you need to familiarize yourself, smell a peach. So when's the last time you smelled a peach to know what a peach smells like? Or things like that, just to remind yourself.
Yeah, but that's the other thing though. So wouldn't that taint then because if you know what it smells like, if you look it up beforehand, what you're supposed to be smelling, so then would you then what, I think I do smell,
which we don't do, because we think that's kind of cheating.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we haven't give your honest opinion
right
of what it tastes like off the bat.
Yep. Let's I'm gonna put a couple ice cubes in mine. That's just like a group of. This is just one big group. So basically, like Chris said, we took it straight out of the bottle, put a couple ice cubes in it, wait a minute or so, and then now we're gonna go over
a little whiskey history.
Whiskey history. So which is basically the history of Maker's Mark.
Yeah, and do you know why that it was? Do you know why it's dipped?
I don't know why it's dipped. I think it's pretty cool though.
Okay, well, first of all, that William, Bill Samuels, his wife Margie, she was equally a big part of Maker's Mark.
Oh, yeah.
That she is to actually, design the label. She wasn't even a graphic artist or anything, a designer. But on the label, you see an S because it's from Star Hill.
Okay.
The 4 is because it was Samuel, because it was Bill, Samuel the Fourth. They still to this day make their labels off the same printing press from 1935. And I haven't.
Awesome.
It's a Chandler Price printing press.
That's digging deep. I like it.
Oh, yeah, I go all the way. Since I'm on the printing press, that it actually broke down. So when it broke down, what they do? They sourced another one, 1935.
That's great. How do you find that? That's not like a Craigslist item. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I don't know. Yeah.
It's not like you go on Facebook Marketplace and find a 1935
hey, who has
printing
a
press.
1935 printing press? We just ours is down. We just borrow it for a while.
That's awesome.
But okay, now another interesting historical fact about Maker's Mark is that the reason that they it was actually Margie's idea. His wife's idea is like to dip it in plastic, is to give it because that's what they did with wine. They had a wax seal on top of the cork.
Okay.
So at that time, 1950s, bourbon was seen as
Right, we got some action apparently.
Hey, so happening on the river.
Yeah, when you're on the river doing whiskey.
Hey, directly overhead.
Yeah, we get airplanes and dogs running around. So, like we said in our intro, we're just two working class guys with families and dogs and apparently airplanes. So, all right, that interruption's over.
Okay, but she actually used her deep fryer to melt plastic.
Oh, really?
And wax, whatever. Yeah, and dip the bottle in order to give it a more sophisticated look.
Yeah.
Because bourbon at that time was looked at like bottom of the barrel, like moonshine. That's what's considered moonshine. So it was looked as bad, derogatory. Right. So she wanted to class it up.
That's awesome.
So to this day, they still hand dip every bottle.
That's pretty awesome considering, technology today. But I like the fact that they have pride in their product like that, where it's, the tradition of it is awesome.
No, it is. Well, they said it's hand dipped, and obviously each person does it. Either skinny dip or slam dunker. Depends on who you.
Oh, really? It depends on who's dipping.
Depends on
who's
dipping. That's
funny. I think I'd be a slam dunker. Just throw
why
it
not?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? And they actually do tours. You can do tours of their distillery.
Oh yeah, and is that the one that's on the Bourbon Trail or whatever up in Kentucky?
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna have to dig a little deeper into that because Chris and I also wanna. That'd be awesome to do.
That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and if you tour there, you can actually dip your own bottle.
Oh, no kidding. That'd be awesome. I saw some at the liquor store the other day that since it was green and red. It was red and then topped with the green.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing I read about that too, because it can be a different flavor, or it's just to spice it up.
Yeah,
I think
that's cool. I like it.
A bit different.
So like we said, this is it's out of the Burke's Distillery.
Yep.
Which was built in 1889.
Right.
And the cool thing about this building is that it's part of the what do they call it? Oh, it's registered National Register of Historic Places.
Yeah, so now it's a historical landmark.
Yeah,
right?
that's super cool. A guy by the name of T. William Samuel Sr. or Bill Sr. Bought in 1953 this distillery for $35,000.
Yeah, the Burke's Distillery.
Yeah, the Burke's Distillery, and they began production in 1954,
yeah.
and then the first bottle was in 1958 is when it came out. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty young. I mean, relatively speaking, with other stuff that we've tried,
Yeah, compared to like Bushmills and.
Yeah, Bushmills. That's
Jameson.
Yeah, that's hundreds of years old.
Yeah, it has it by just a couple of years.
Right. Yeah. But it's really good. Should we do round two here?
I think this is round two.
So basically, the ice has melted a little bit. Yep. There's some ice in here, and I think it'll change quite a bit. Ooh.
Oh, you smell
way
a lot.
Different.
Yeah,
a lot
way
sweeter.
Different. I smell
super sweet. I say this every time, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but I smell caramel.
Well, I mean, but now that's the other thing. Doing my research, because like I said, we know nothing about this stuff.
Right.
Is that charred barrels, right? Because whiskey is in charred oak barrels.
Mm.
I better give it a taste before we gotta catch up.
Charred white oak barrels.
Right. Nope.
It's very good. I like it. Like every other review we've done, I like it a lot better with a couple ice cubes after it sweats for a little bit or melts. The ice melts a little bit in there.
Well, it's to me, it's like I don't. It didn't get any better for me.
No?
No.
I thought it got way better. Way better. That was, yeah. It's really good. And what'd you pay for this, by the way?
I think I paid $22.
Yeah, so it's relatively
Not bad.
No, it's good for any whiskey drink. It's not like a $60 bottle of whiskey, so you can have it all the time.
Right. No, yeah. I mean, for $22 you can't go wrong.
No, not at all.
But that they sell more than 9 million bottles a year. Maker's Mark.
Yeah, that's a lot. Considering it's a.
And they do it with a 1935, printing press, and they hand up every bottle.
Right, and it's a small batch bourbon, which I think is like they don't make that many barrels, right? Is that what that means? Small batch, I think.
Small batch is like by volume, so they you only make so many.
Okay, yeah, right.
So many barrels of it, so it's not high production.
That's a lot of barrels to fill 9,000 bottles, though.
9 million.
9 million bottles, yeah.
Yeah, 9 million bottles a year. That's crazy. And remember we talked about the whiskey before? I think the EY and the Y thing.
Yeah.
Do you know that Maker's Mark is? Do you notice that there's no E in it?
Yeah, I did, and it was because. Oh, I read about it. I don't remember what it was though.
See, I didn't get that, but I know that there's a couple others that are American whiskeys because American whiskey normally use EY.
Right. Yep.
And nope, it's actually Maker's Mark, and George Dickel and Old Forester.
Oh gosh. George Dickel and what?
Old Forester.
Old Forester.
Yep. Drop the E.
Okay.
So they spell whiskey just with the Y.
That's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. It kind of brings it all together, like as far as they want to be their own bourbon, as far with the printing press and the wax and the dropping the E and things like that. I think it's awesome.
We need to find what was the first American whiskey or bourbon.
Yeah, we should. Well, wasn't it George Washington, right? Oh, that was probably way before that.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
As far as the first one, I don't know.
He was the first president to have a distillery.
Right.
Obviously.
Pay attention, because we'll probably cover that at some point. Should we move on to whiskey news?
We should.
Or do you want to?
Yeah. No, you have whiskey news and then the final taste, right?
Yeah. So
okay.
us being new to the whiskey genre, I guess.
The whiskey scene. I like the whiskey.
Yeah, the whiskey scene.
Yeah.
We've come across a lot of, or the few whiskeys that we've done. A gentleman by the name of Dave Pickerell was involved in a lot of them.
Well, and that because we talked about Dave Pickerell in the Metallica.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
So we thought it would be appropriate that we would do Maker's Mark, because that's what he spent 14 years at.
Yeah.
Maker's Mark.
Yep. And it's cool. Well, first of all, the reason we're doing this is because he recently just passed away, and he was a master distiller.
Yeah.
And so we picked Maker's Mark as kind of a, in honor of him, I guess.
Tribute. Yeah,
tribute to him.
He died November 1st.
Yeah, that was
November 1st in San Francisco, and he passed away at 62 years old.
Yeah, that's super young, man.
Well, it's heart failure. That's what it was.
Yep. And the thing that I really like, he's a veteran. He actually went to the
West Point.
Yeah, West Point Military Academy, and spent 11 years in the Army, which is, thanks for your service, David, Mr. Pickerell, I guess, because.
Well, I mean, he was a chemical engineer from West Point.
Oh yeah, right.
Well, I mean, that's huge, because that goes into.
That goes into everything that he does, as far as even being a master distillery.
Yeah.
Or master distiller.
Yes.
Yeah, so we became a chemical engineer, and then joined. He was a consultant, I guess, for Rotec in Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so after leaving the Army in 1989, Pickerell became a chemical engineer and distilling consultant for Rotec in Louisville, Kentucky, which,
no kidding.
A lot that we know of bourbon-wise is done in Kentucky.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean, 'cause you say bourbon, you automatically think of what? Bourbon County.
Right. Yeah.
Bourbon County, Kentucky.
Yep.
And that's the other thing that we need to talk about, because is bourbon. Bourbon is distinctly American, as far as whiskey goes.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll get back to Mr. Pickerell here. In 1994, he joined Maker's Mark as a corporate vice president and master distiller and was with that company for 14 years.
But he made a huge difference. I mean, he,
yeah.
like their profits went, over 50% more. I mean, he did amazing.
Right. Yeah, I wish I could have met him just to learn.
Well, I mean, everything that he said, read about him. He said, he was a great guy. I mean, he worked with another company. He helped set up their distillery, right? Mm-hmm. Because he worked before he became a master distiller, he worked in building this,
Oh, sorry, I'll
stills.
wait. I'll wait.
I don't know, it's just reflex, right?
Right, yeah. We're talking whiskey.
About it.
So what other company, he was with, they call him the Johnny Appleseed of
whiskey.
Craft distilling. Bourbon. So he was with
Whistle Pig.
Maker's Mark, Whistle Pig, which is another small manufacturer, which we'll get into at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it's amazing.
You're also with Hill Rock in Ankrum, New York,
mm-hmm.
which they started a new process called Solera, which they basically it's taking barrels and and you're putting a little bit from one into another, so it's kind of the aging process, and you're kind of stepping it up each time.
That's awesome. I like it. He was also he was part of a group that helped restore George Washington's distillery in Mount Vernon, Virginia. So he helps redo that building basically.
Well, yeah. So they found George Washington's original recipe,
which is. I mean,
because that's you said something before that George Washington outlawed, or
there was a certain it was called the Whiskey Rebellion, where he put a tax on different crops, I guess, like rye, corn, everything that people would use to make whiskey, and but he had his own distillery, so I think he was kind of, I don't know, shaving off the top, what I mean?
I don't know. Like you said, we need to find out exactly what happened, how that worked.
Right.
But,
it sounds a little fishy.
But obviously, Dave Pickerell and a handful of other master distillers kind of recreated, or they used that recipe and created a whiskey.
Right.
Because originally it wasn't aged.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, George Washington's original whiskey.
He just put it together and threw it down?
It's like moonshine, yeah.
Yeah, right.
So now it wasn't aged.
Right. That's crazy.
Oh, and that's the other thing about the oak barrels, the white oak barrels. The reason they char it is because that it gives it almost a vanilla taste. That it pulls it from
the barrels, right?
Yeah, the alcohol. Sitting in the barrels. Ooh.
Sorry, dog almost took out the camera. Odin, stop it! Go away! Go away! Go away!
Okay.
Sorry.
So anything else on?
Blackened. Well, which you mentioned already.
Yeah.
With the Metallica whiskey, he was a big part of Metallica. Helping to put their whiskey together.
Right.
Which we've talked about that.
Right.
Blackened before. So.
Yeah, in the whiskey history, because obviously when he's got with Metallica.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that Metallica got with him, right? And they named their whiskey Blackened.
Right.
But nowhere on that bottle does it say Metallica. Do you know that?
No, it doesn't.
And on the bottom it says it's remastered by Dave Pickerell.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's.
I love that too. I love that tagline. That's great.
Yep, that's super cool. Anything else you want to say? Like final thoughts as far as what you're. Well, I guess let's do our last taste. And we'll give you some. All the ice is gone.
Yep.
We'll give you a final thought of what we thought of it. And kind of a brief generalization. Yeah, it just gets better and better with a little watered down. Me personally, I know a lot of people out there don't like that, but.
Well, see, and some of them, I don't mind watered down, but for me, Maker's Mark is not. I think my least favorite so far. Out of.
You didn't like it?
I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But if I had was it what was the other one that was the last one we did? Jameson.
Black Barrel. That one was amazing. I liked that one a lot.
Like I said, if out of everything we've done so far, I think this is my least favorite.
It's probably middle of the road for me.
It's sit here and finish it.
Yeah, right. It's it's definitely something that I wouldn't. I'm not gonna not drink it. I can tell you that.
Right.
But if I had my choice between that and something else, I'd probably go with the Black Barrel or something. Well, as far as the ones that we reviewed already, but it's good. I'm on I'm on your side.
Okay, but I mean, we really need like a scale, don't we?
Yeah.
What, 1 to 10, 1 to 5?
I think last time we did 1 to 5.
1 to 5. Okay,
and
so then what would you think?
I put Black Barrel at a 4.
Because Bushmills,
Bushmills, I gave it 2. I didn't like that at all. So I'd give this a 3.
3?
It's higher than Bushmills and less than Jameson Black Barrel.
Now, see, I would take Bushmills over.
I think we need to make it a 1 to 10 thing though, because.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think we keep it tight. I like
Yeah,
1 through 5.
All right, cool. So yeah, I'd give it a 3. Kind of middle, right down the middle.
Yeah. See, I'll probably 2. Like I said, it's not bad. Just not probably my least favorite so far.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, thanks for watching another episode of Whiskey in a Hammock. I hope you guys are having fun like we are. Hopefully you're learning a little something.
Right.
And like we always say in our videos, let us know how we're doing. Let us know if you see something that we're doing wrong as far as tasting and things like that, or things that you can help us learn. Because like we always say, we're learning together, and we appreciate your feedback. And hopefully we're teaching you a little something in the process as well.
That sounds good. And so we'll leave with our motto.
Yeah, go for it, Chris.
May the wind always sway your hammock, and may your glass never go dry.
Cheers. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Whiskey in a hammock. Whiskey in a hammock.